This beach keeps it high energy, intense, and full of storytelling moments. Just like a big, dramatic survival challenge. Want me to tweak it or add more suspense? 1 second life is normal, the next, you're stranded. The waves crash, the sun beats down, and your brain is racing. Is this real? How long can I last? You check your pockets. No phone, no snacks, nothing useful, just pure instincts. It all happens in a blur. One moment everything is normal, the sun shining, the waves calm, the world predictable. Then, out of nowhere, chaos erupts. A loud crack. The ground shakes. The air fills with panic. You don't even have time to think before you're being thrown, tossed around like a rag doll. The sound of ripping metal, the force of the impact, it's deafening. And then you wake up, dazed, disoriented, and gasping for air. A sharp pain shoots through your body, but there's no time to focus on it. Where are you? You blink, trying to make sense of what just happened. The smell of salt water stings your nose. The sun blinds you. Your hands grip sand. Warm, rough, real. You try to sit up, but your head spins. You take deep breaths, trying to shake the dizziness. Your clothes are soaked, clinging to you like a second skin. Every muscle aches. As you force yourself to focus, the realization hits like a punch to the gut. You're alone. Your heart pounds as you scan your surroundings. Endless ocean on one side, thick jungle on the other. No buildings, no roads, no people. Just an uncharted island that you have no business being on. You stagger to your feet, every step unsteady. The beach stretches far in both directions. But there's no sign of anyone else, no wreckage, no familiar voices. Just the eerie sound of wind rustling through the palm trees. Panic claws at your throat. This can't be real. This can't be happening. You spin around, desperate for any sign of civilization. Nothing. Your pulse skyrockets as your brain tries to rationalize. Maybe this is a dream. Maybe rescue is on the way. Then your survival instincts kick in. Assess the situation. Are you injured? Do you have supplies? Can you find anything useful? You take a few shaky steps toward the water, searching for debris, anything that could help, a few broken planks, a half-buried bag, but nothing useful. Your throat is dry, your stomach already twisting in hunger. How long can you last? Your mind races with questions, each more terrifying than the last. The sun blazes overhead, reminding you that time is slipping away. Every second wasted is a second closer to nightfall. A night that could bring anything. You swallow your fear. Right now, there's no choice but to survive. The sun is brutal. It beats down relentlessly, making every step feel heavier, every breath harder. Your throat is dry, lips cracking. The realization is sinking in fast. If you don't find water soon, it's game over. Your body is screaming for rest, but stopping isn't an option. You scan the beach again, hoping for some kind of miracle. A washed-up cooler, a forgotten water bottle, anything. Nothing. Just miles of sand, ocean, and the dense, shadowy jungle behind you. The thought of venturing into the unknown is terrifying. Who knows what's lurking in there? Snakes? Spiders? Something worse? But the heat is unbearable, and you can't drink salt water. If you stay here, you die. If you go in, at least there's a chance. You step off the burning sand and into the jungle. Immediately the temperature drops. The air is thick with the smell of damp earth and greenery. The sounds are overwhelming. Birds calling, leaves rustling, unseen creatures moving in the underbrush. Every crunch under your feet makes you flinch. You push deeper in, carefully stepping over twisted roots and massive leaves, scanning the ground for anything useful, and then you hear it. A soft trickle. Your heart pounds as you move toward the sound. The closer you get, the more certain you are. Water. Breaking through a thick cluster of trees, you see it. A small stream glistening in the dappled sunlight. Relief floods through you, but another thought rushes in just as fast. Is it safe to drink? You hesitate. Waterborne diseases, parasites, all the horror stories flood your mind. But what's the alternative? Dehydration? You crouch down, cupping some in your hands, staring at it like it holds all the answers. One sip, just one. The cool liquid slides down your throat, and for a moment, nothing has ever tasted better. You drink carefully, listening to every sound around you, hyper-awares of your surroundings. Your stomach twists in hunger. You scan the trees, searching for anything edible, fruits, nuts, even bugs, if it comes to that. At first, nothing. Then, jackpot. A cluster of coconuts hanging high above. But how do you get them? Climbing is risky and shaking the tree does nothing. You need a tool. You scour the ground and find a thick fallen branch. With everything you have, you slam it against the base of the tree. Once. Twice. Nothing. Frustration builds. You hit harder. Crack. One coconut shifts. Another hit. Bam! It falls. You rush to it like you just found buried treasure. But another problem. How do you open it? You slam it against a rock. Nothing. Try again. No luck. How is something that grows on trees this indestructible? You keep at it, gritting your teeth, hands aching, and finally, a crack. It splits and sweet coconut water spills out. You drink every last drop before scooping out the flesh with trembling hands. It's the best thing you've ever eaten. For the first time since crashing here, you've conquered something. You have water. You have food. Your body is still weak, but you feel a surge of energy, a tiny bit of confidence. But then, a new sound. Something moving in the jungle. Your breath catches. It's close. Too close. Survival isn't just about food and water. Now you have to stay alive. Just when you think you've caught a break, the island reminds you who's in charge. Survival isn't just about finding food and water. It's about enduring whatever nature throws at you. And right now, nature is throwing everything. The sun dips below the horizon, and with it, the temperature drops. The once sweltering heat is now replaced by a bone-chilling breeze. The jungle, which seemed lively but manageable during the day, turns into a pitch-black nightmare. Every sound feels amplified. The rustling leaves, the distant screech of an unknown creature, the occasional snap of a branch somewhere nearby. You sit against a tree, gripping the sharpest rock you could find, listening to the eerie silence between every distant howl. You hold your breath, your eyes dart around, straining to see through the darkness. Another rustle, this time even nearer. A shadow moves. Is it an animal? Or worse, is it not alone? Your heart pounds like a drum. Fight or flight. Run blindly into the jungle and risk getting lost, or stay still and hope whatever it is loses interest. Then, the growl. Low. Deep. Close enough that you feel it in your chest. Instinct takes over. You grab a burning stick from the dying fire you barely managed to start and swing it in front of you. The light flickers, just enough to catch a glimpse of something big lurking in the trees. Two glowing eyes flash before disappearing into the darkness. Adrenaline surges. Your mind races with questions. What was that? Will it come back? How many are out there? The next morning, exhaustion weighs on you. Your body aches, your stomach is empty again, but there's no time to rest. You need shelter, something more than just leaves and desperation. You start gathering branches, vines, anything to build a sturdy structure. The work is slow, your hands are raw, but the sense of accomplishment pushes you forward. By midday, you've managed to put together something that almost looks like a shelter. A real home, even if it's just a pile of sticks held together with hope. The first raindrops feel like warnings. The wind picks up, bending trees, making the entire jungle sway. Then, with zero mercy, the sky explodes. Torrential rain, deafening thunder, winds so strong they rip branches from trees. Your shelter? Completely obliterated in seconds. You scramble, crawling on all fours toward the nearest thick tree, trying to find anything to shield yourself from the onslaught. The rain stings like needles against your skin. The wind howls like a beast. Leaves, branches, debris, all flying through the air like weapons. Then, the worst part, a flash of lightning, and in that brief moment of blinding light, you see something. Your body reacts before your brain does. Move, now! You dive to the side, rolling through mud just as the tree crashes down with a thunderous boom, missing you by inches. Heart racing, too close, way too close. You sit there, drenched, shaking, staring at the massive trunk now blocking your way back. There's no budget. Staring at this massive trunk, now blocking your way back. The storm rages on, but nothing else matters. And for the first time, the thought really hits. What if no one finds you? What if this island becomes your grave? The storm finally passes, leaving destruction in its wake. Trees are down, your shelter is gone, but the worst part? You have no food left. The coconuts you gathered were washed away, the fish you caught was ruined. And the hunger is no longer just an annoyance, it's painful. You start searching again, this time further than before. The jungle is dense, but your desperation fuels you. You dig through fallen logs, overturned rocks, looking for bugs, worms, anything edible. Your stomach turns at the thought, but there's no choice. You have to eat. You grip a stick, moving slowly, closer, closer. Then, strike! The lizard bolts, but not fast enough. You manage to pin it. Your hands shake as you pick it up, staring at it. You hesitate, but then your stomach growls, louder than ever. Survival isn't pretty. Survival is doing what you have to do. And in that moment, you realize you're no longer just trying to survive. You're becoming something else. You've been here too long. You don't know exactly how many days have passed because time feels different on the island. But your body knows. You're weaker, thinner, drained. Your mind is sharp, but your strength is fading. The thought fuels every decision now. You need to leave. But how? Wait for rescue or make your own escape? Every day you scan the horizon, hoping for something, anything, a plane, a ship, even just a distant light that isn't from the stars. But the ocean stretches forever, meeting the sky in an endless blur of blue. You climb to the highest point on the island, a jagged cliff overlooking the sea. Up here the wind howls and the jungle below looks endless. You wave your arms, yell, do anything to make yourself visible, but nothing changes. With the last of your strength, you weigh your options. Wait for rescue, stay put, conserve energy, keep your fire going and hope that someone will eventually see you. But what if no one does? Build a raft and leave. Risk the ocean, fight the waves, and hope you don't drift into oblivion. But what if you do? If you're going to escape, you need a plan. You remember what you've seen in survival shows, books, and movies. Materials, you need strong logs, ones that float but won't break apart. You spend hours, no days, chopping, breaking, and dragging the best ones to the shore. Fastening, vines, they need to be strong enough to hold everything together. You braid them, twisting them tight until they feel unbreakable. Buoyancy test, before committing, you push a small log into the water. It floats, good. Now, the real work begins. It's grueling. The sun burns your skin. Your hands bleed from pulling vines too tight. You barely eat, too focused on building. A raft, a flimsy, desperate, but real raft. Your way out. The waves crash endlessly, the ocean stretching beyond anything you can see. This is the hardest part. Do you push forward? Do you leave the only place you've known for weeks, maybe months? Or do you stay, clinging to the hope that someone will come? You stare at the horizon, feeling the weight of the decision.